Hello, back again. This is the next day. Yesterday I made my first video, and as I was watching it, I noticed some stuff which I didn't say fully, or maybe a little bit wrong. I mean, these are my first videos, so I still have to see how all of this is going to look like. What I wanted to say yesterday. Now, first, let me tell you where we are. Aww. We are in Kupari. It's down there. Well, I said Dubrovnik, the area I showed you. It's actually Župa Dubrovačka. It is an area just by, it's a suburb. And you see the hotels. The hotels are still ruins from this last war. So when I was showing the area yesterday from the hill, it was actually this area here, Župa Dubrovačka. We'll go to Dubrovnik as well. Now these hotels have been, this is actually where they were shooting, what they were shooting for. We didn't know in that time. Remember, I told you, heard the bombs from one ear to the other, so this is it. They were told that our army is gathering here in these hotels. So that's what they were aiming for. We'll take a walk a little bit, just to show you how that all looks like. So the bombing started in October in 1991, and after a couple of days our town authorities started telling us to go towards the city, which was like the safer place. We went to the hotels, Dubrovnik hotels, which had parts in the basement which were safer during the bombing. So it was 33,000 refugees from this territory. And all of the hotels, those where we were staying, they also needed to be renovated. They all needed to be renovated, and they were all sold. It is connected to the story which I am trying to say, but let's go gradually. So I started being a tourist guide, and the first time I went on the former enemy's territory was when I started guiding in 2005, so in Montenegro. And I was going there for years, and I made good friends, the guides and people from the restaurants and all. And we never talked about the war. Honestly, I thought that they were ashamed, because everybody knows, it was also, you were also following on your TVs, everybody knows that, well, Croatia was attacked by Serbia and Montenegro. I mentioned yesterday Bosnia, but in Bosnia you had a civil war. The three nationalities turned one against each other, and by the neighboring, on the borders, you had these issues like Bosnian Serbians and Dubrovnik area. So we never talked about it. I thought they were ashamed. Yeah, everybody knows it. But then one year we were going with the bus, and we have a Croatian registration plates. Now let me see if I can put the camera somewhere and then talk. So one year we were going like that with the bus, and a local boy saw the Croatian registration plate, and he showed us the middle finger. And I was thinking, really, to us? What did we ever do to you? I mean, why do you hate us? Aren't you the ones that are like supposed to be ashamed or whatever? But then that's actually what made me dig deeper. And it's not even that deep. I mean, it's kind of official. Their mission, let's say, was called War for Peace. they were told, so Montenegrins, as I mentioned yesterday, that we are attacking them, that Croatia got like hijacked by crazy lunatic, I don't know, nationalists. That's why we wanted our independence, like Ustaše, you know the terms from the Second World War. And these Ustaše are gathering and marching to Montenegro, an army of a couple of thousand, dozen thousand of men. So they gathered people to fight, so propaganda, telling them that they are defending themselves, defending Montenegro. And it looks like the same thing has been told to Bosnia-Herzegovina, so this area. Now look, it's very interesting from here. We can see over there. You see the hill over here? The houses, so that's where the border is. That's the area where we were bombed from. You see how close we are. So to me, that was a total perception changer. I mentioned that I was bothered by the question why, that I couldn't realize because I knew it was just men, yeah, good and evil. Now, that's a good excuse. I mean, we go to wars, NATO and so on. We go to wars for defending ourselves or defending other people. Now, you know, in the news, they always present the enemy to be like some crazy lunatics. It's not like that, it's regular people. So I knew that already instinctively as a girl. And now I knew how it happened. And for me, this was really a big thing. I started telling it to everyone, but people don't accept it. And I guess they don't accept it like saying, yeah, but they still did all of the things that they did. They burned our houses. Yes, but you know of, let's call them our soldiers, I would say NATO as well, people raping and so on. Now think of the people in your village, think of the people in your town. You certainly know some people that in a time of a chaos or whatever would do exactly the same thing, go rape people, burn houses, rob houses and so on. The point is that even our people were robbing our houses. I mean, it was a huge market. I would say you could enter whichever house. After the war, we were playing in these houses. Even when we were in the hotels, the Dubrovnik hotels as refugees, we would be entering other people's stores or whatever. I mean, it was total chaos. It's totally normal. It was totally normal, I want to say. Now what happened? So when I say told by the media and all of it, not sure if you are aware of it, all of the major media outlets belong just to six, actually you can gather them on six owners, and apparently all of the journals, all of the investigators, whoever, they owe the information to their outlet, to their news house, and then so on. And there is some material on the internet, you can find everything. There is a lot of material and information implying that the war was led from the outside. Now, there is a video. It's a cut out from the news, Croatian national TV and Serbian national TV, transmitting a message about Vukovar, which is a town at the border between Croatia and Serbia, where Serbians and Croatians lived, both together. And they're both transmitting the same message. So it says, and there we have the images from Vukovar, which are proving or showing the massacre that the Serbians did over the Croatian population. That's what the Croatian television said. And yet the Serbian says that the Croatian population did over the Serbians with the same exact words. You could say, yes, it is just the governments which have taken the same information and then told them to say the same stuff. But again, recently on the internet, you could find on YouTube all around the states, so different news outlets repeating the same exact news. It's something about fake news. I will learn how to include the videos in this, or I will put videos below so that you can watch it. I mentioned yesterday that a lot of people started waking up to this idea that we are being manipulated, that it has all been, that all of the wars, a lot of people know about this, they call it conspiracy theory. Do you know that the term was coined after JFK's assassination, when people started investigating, actually questioning the official narrative? So then you just call it like that and you say, oh yes, it's Are we really that blind? Okay, now that's my mission, let's say. That's why I can't shush anymore. That's why I decided to speak out. I have gathered a lot of material about it. Now, first thing I need to talk about, I made here a little paper, a couple of things I wanted to say, which I forgot maybe yesterday, I wanted to say more. Cognitive dissonance. Do you know what cognitive dissonance is? I guess that already some are feeling it. I am mostly afraid well, my biggest critics might be my citizens and people around, and it's because of the war stories and a lot of people lost their lives, they lost family members. Our men were fighting and they are still some of them, nationalists, that they are attached to it. They have an emotional reaction. So I don't know how will they feel. My message to them is we are barking at the wrong tree. There is another enemy which we need to fight. Yes, all of the crimes have happened, but we have all been fooled by the same people, and this is done constantly. They know what our fears and passions are. Here you can activate people. So when the war was starting, actually the propaganda was, they called the Croats Ustashi and the Serbians Chetniks, and that's how you define them. That's how you wake up the feelings. Something important that I realized, so okay, I live in Dubrovnik in Croatia, and every couple of months we have some anniversaries regarding the war, the bombing, the liberation, the beginning of the war, the day of the worst attack, and so on. And I thought, yeah, okay, it's logic, we have all of it. But last winter, we were in Austria, and we were watching Serbian TV. There was something that we liked, so it would stay sometimes on that channel. And I realized that a couple of times during the day, they mentioned Jasenovac for different reasons in the news, or there was some documentary or whatever. Jasenovac is a place where during the Second World War, the Croats were killing, the Ustashi were killing, well, Serbians and Gypsies and Jewish people and different nationalities, And the thing is that there is constantly this waking up of the feelings of the monsters from the past. They know what we are weak to. Even today for elections and whatever, you have two sides. You have in everything. You have scientific atheists and religious people. They are dividing us, and if it's necessary, you can easily create a war. Now, let me see if I can hold this. Must buy a selfie stick. Yugoslavia national debt at the end, so just before it fell apart, was 13.5 billions. Yugoslavia was in huge debt, and they said, oh, that's too much money, we aren't giving any more money to Yugoslavia, but we will give it to the countries, separate countries, if they separate. Today, all together, so in 2010, the 6 countries, or 7, Kosovo, it's 184 billions, and that is not too much. Okay. Yugoslavia had, I'm not glorifying it, I'm just trying to say the facts. So all of this belonged, it was full of factories. Croatia, Yugoslavia didn't want to import anything that we could produce ourselves. The hotels, it was all owned by the workers, by the peoples, the factories. And that is not a good system for the ruling elite. Call them like that. It's a common term. After the war and during the war, so all of it was bombed, the hotels damaged, the economy totally weakened. NATO was bombing Serbia, Belgrade, factories, a lot of factories which had nothing to do with the war, we can say. Okay, the factory where they were producing cars, for example, like Yugo, it was bombed. They say they were producing weapons, all right. But there were a lot of other factories which haven't been producing anything, and they were still bombed. It was just to kill the economy. Now all of this is sold. Sounds familiar? Now, all right, we're just walking around, seeing other people. This is not going to be only about the war. I have, because of this, my interest, I mentioned yesterday, my interest in many stuff actually started. So I was working as a tourist guide for 13 years, and every winter I had free for doing whatever I wanted. Basically, I was studying everything. Different life situations were getting me to different interests. When somebody had a disease, I would read about our digestive system, immune system. I was reading about physics. Now, I will try not to call it anymore quantum physics or astrophysics or whatever, because it's all physics. And there are some scientists which got to interesting theories, unifying it all. I was reading a lot about archaeology, about the new findings and what are they telling us, about history, again, new findings, and in general a lot of stuff which we are not being told, and a lot of these things are implying the same, that our reality is quite more unreal. That's the name of the channel, what I mentioned yesterday. Let's enter another hotel. This one is from 1919. This is the only one that will have to be renovated and not pulled down. Over there some other hotels. What else I would like to say? So what is the point of all of these videos? See, this is a Serbian sign. It's in Cyrillic, 4 S's. C is S. Samo Srbi sebe spasavaju, like the only Serbians can save themselves. And then our local boys have been drawing around. Now look at this. This was covered with nice stone plates. It was all taken by our people after the war, so we've taken valuables. So the point of the videos is to, well, okay, share the knowledge, share the information. You can say I'm a dreamer, but I would like to bring some understanding. I will be talking about psychology and actually what affects our thinking a lot, and the ego, so self-awareness. You see, we start with heavy stuff, but that's how I got into it. I am making a lecture, just now writing it, and it's called From a Little Yugoslav Refugee, because during the war I was a refugee in Italy. We have friends over there. We were in the hotels, then a little bit in Italy, and then over here again. And they called me in that settlement Piccola Profuga Slava, so little Yugoslav refugee. So I'm thinking of naming it from the little Yugoslav refugee to the Youniverse, Universe with you, because that's what new findings are implying. Now, I've been testing it in my life, and I have miraculous stuff happening. I think this is, I don't know, it's very weird, a lot of stuff. Still don't know how to include these happenings, the wars, and yes, the dyings and all. I know what people say, if God exists, where is He when we are sick, when children are dying. According to the stuff I found, this is all just a game. I believe in reincarnation. Now, for all of those which consider this very crazy, reincarnation, if we were living in Jesus' time, for example, we would be believing it as well. If our church fathers haven't decided what will go in and out in the 4th century, so in Constantine was also, it was in his time they were deciding. He was including, excluding, some 35 books were excluded. And they talk about reincarnation. You know that a lot of Eastern philosophies still keep it, even Jewish Kabbalah. So according to that, we are here to gather the experience. To learn. And enrich our soul or whatever. There are a lot of scientists which are researching reincarnation. Again, heavy topics for the first video. So the point of these videos is to I'm not trying to convince anyone of anything, of any of this. I would like maybe to add another perspective. So I already have another perspective on many of the things. So I would like to share that. I would like to share the information. I think my point is I would like to bring some understanding about, okay, this all what happened and what is happening in general in our lives and why is it happening. Bring some understanding. With understanding comes forgiveness, and I want the humans to unite. I know how that sounds, but it might not be that impossible if you get to find, if you discover yourself, if you get to find who you are, you will understand who other people are, and then it might not be that difficult. So, there, I don't know, I'm inviting you to join me. I will first film a couple of videos regarding different topics and then publish them together. Thank you if this is going to be published. Thanking you. And see you.